that's about it. She's reaching Oh, these are years. Okay. One through 15. Same number, but they have to put it on twice if it's 800 and above. Same number, yeah. Good. Running around. If you could figure out how to get it on.
Wait, it might have been. Julia, did you by any chance have somebody call my mom yesterday?
Someone just called my mom.
Like their college boy?
And my dad.
Yeah, somebody that's me too. I thought it was
No, but they're like, where's the graduation?
Appreciate the volunteers.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the WBAL Meet 2A. Currently, we are in the discus throw event. My name is Luis Rangel, one of the producers and directors running the stream today. We may have an announcer later on, but just letting you know, currently we're in the discus throw event.
Yeah, we need to catch up. Yeah, like, we'll have to say.
please at the start finish line, please.
Yes, girls, just go check and warm up. I'll come back in like 10 minutes, get your roller thing, and we'll get going, okay?
Coming next is the girls discus throw event.
You should be back in, getting your number. We'll go with the first accident will be the 4x100 meter relay. That is in 20 minutes, followed by 2 heats in the mile, followed by 1 heat at the 100 meter hurdle, and 1 heat at the 100 meter hurdle. Then we'll go right into the 400, 100, 800. You're going to forget all those. Welcome to the beautiful day for track and field. Great to have spectators and fans, athletes. Have a great day today. Wish is they had
Number 7 for the 100. You put it on your hip and your chest. Number 2 for the
Safety volunteers too. I'm sure. Well, we gotta clear all the way back there.
To have 10 twice.
Oh my gosh. I didn't even know. How appropriate. I need to have you get under 10. All right.
All right, looks like Mira Devgan from Menlo School, 11th grader, junior, has a fair throw in the discus. Today we have two contestants in the girls' discus throw. Allie McKenney from Menlo School, a junior, and her compatriot Mira Devgan are only two contestants today in the discus throw. Now throwing, Allie McKenney of Menlo. A fair throw. One of the tricks to the discus is you have to exit through the back half of the circle. If you accidentally toe even as much as a centimeter out of the front, you are considered to have scratched that throw.
75 on that throw.
That was a fair throw at 75 feet, 8 inches.
One throw left
Each girl has one throw left.
Before we start our first track event, we have 4x100. And we'll go right in.
Now approaching the discus for her final throw, Mira Devgan of Menlo School.
1600. We'll run the girls' track events first. Following field events, obviously discus.
In case you're curious, the discus weighs 2.2 pounds or 1 kilogram.
We'll start right at 4. Girls long jump and boys long jump. We'll run concurrently. And then about an hour later, we'll run both triple jumps.
Mira with her final throw also looks like it's fair. The officials are now measuring. Mira had a throw of 57 feet, 6 inches. Now approaching the discus circle for her final throw, Allie McKenney. Looks like we have a fair throw. Allie exited the circle. Officials now measuring. She improved her last throw. This one was 79 feet, 6 inches.
Athletic trainer, an amazing athletic trainer. That's that. If anybody, hopefully doesn't use her. We also have fresh, cold ice water, athletics, foot pedal, water balls, red fries, red dye game, fresh cold ball.
The boys' high jump is now being contested. The officials are measuring the bar. It has been raised to 5 feet. Just for a point of reference, the leading jump for the 2021 high school track season, the prep track season in America this year, is a whopping 7 feet, 3 inches. Jumped already this year by Cameron Garrett from Lawrence Central High School in Indianapolis, Indiana. about 2 minutes until we begin the track events. Athletes are currently warming up. The track events will begin at 4 p.m. We'll begin with a 400-meter relay. That means there will be 4 athletes passing 1 baton around the track. Each athlete runs 100 meters. There's an exchange zone that's about 20 meters long. One strategy that coaches will often use is to put their fastest runner on the second leg, because that athlete between the exchange zones could actually end up running 120 meters around this track and carry the baton a bit further. Other coaches like to put their fastest runner on the anchor to create a successful finish for their team. As always, the baton is the most beguiling piece of equipment in this relay. Don't want to drop that baton. The 400-meter relays, or the 4x100 as it's sometimes called, will start out with the girls of Sacred Heart contesting, and followed by the boys. The next event on the track will be the 1,600 meters, a little bit shorter than a full mile, followed by the 100-meter hurdles, girls section, and 110 meters for the boys. Oh, looks like we've dropped the standards in the high jump down. I think perhaps they're starting with jumps of 4'10" today for the boys.
Okay. Yeah, we're all good. Girls 4x1 on the track. Heat 1 of 1. Good luck, ladies. Here we go.
Okay, so 4x4 start. Get that shot since you're close.
Ladies are entering the blocks. We have Sacred Heart Prep, and she's off. Pumping hard, approaching the 50-meter mark. 70 meters, coming into the exchange zone. Looks like our first runner got out a little fast from the exchange zone onto the second runner from Sacred Heart. Driving down the back stretch. Approaching into the second exchange zone. We have a fair exchange. Third runner now has the baton from Sacred Heart. Coming around into the third exchange zone, passing off to our fourth runner. Our anchor. Uh-oh, we may have an exchange violation. She got the baton. She had to put on the brakes though. Something to grow from for our next meet. It's nice to have these opportunities to practice. All right, girls got the baton around in 1 minute, 0.6. Officially 1 minute, 0.57 for Sacred Heart Prep. Nice to have those opportunities to work the kinks out and practice meets like these. Next on the track, we're going to have the boys 4x100 meter. Sacred Heart will be the only team contesting this. Our other schools represented here today are Castellea, Crystal Springs, and Notre Dame Belmont, and Mercy Burlingame. Oh, looks like the boys have forgone. Looks like now we have the 1,600 meters race. I see Lucy Lambert stepping on the track from Sacred Heart Prep. We also have Julia Soderberry representing SHP, wearing hip number 2. Hip number 3, we have Perry McClenney of Castellea. Wearing hip 4 is Riley Sheehan of Crystal Springs. Number 5 is Maya Wohol of Crystal Springs. Number 6, Kristen Chang of Crystal Springs, a senior. Wearing hip number 7, we have Jane Brockett of SHP, a senior. Wearing hip 8, Megan Worry, a 9th grader from Notre Dame Belmont. Wearing hip number 9, Annette Henderson of Notre Dame Belmont, a freshman. Wearing number 10, Nancy Estabi, a 12th grader from Mercy Burlingame. Wearing hip number 11, Sophia Knapp, a 10th grader from Mercy Burlingame. Wearing number 12, Eliza Goller, a 12th grader from Castellea. Wearing hip number 13, Alejandra Fernandez of Notre Dame, a senior. Number 14, Kathleen Davidson, a 10th grader from Notre Dame Belmont. And wearing hip number 15, Daniela Henderson, a 10th grader of Castellea. Lucy Lambert is one of the top prep school athletes in the 1600. She also recently clocked a blazingly fast 58-second quarter mile, or a one-lapper. The girls are about to start. Now contesting the high jump. We have a fair jump in the high jump. And they're off. Girls merge. This is a 4-lap race. Lucy Lambert surging to the front, followed by Julia Soderberry from SHP, repping the prep.
1,600. We're fortunate to have one of the top runners in the state of California. This point,
Lucy Lambert taking this race out, running a bit of a solo tempo currently.
both long jumps can start. Both girls and both long jump head over to the
Lambert cruising down, closing in on her first 400. Looks like she's going to hit her first 400 in a 72 and change. Our gaggle of greats from Crystal Spring coming across in about 125. We have a nice second pack of runners comprised of Julia Soderberry and Perry McClenney of Sacred Heart and Crystal Springs. And it looks like Eliza Goller may also be sneaking in there from Castellea as well in our second pack of runners. Lucy currently has about 50 meters on the second pack. All right, Lucy's second lap. Looks like she dropped the pace a bit, came through the 800 and a 2:30. Our second pack of runners about to hit the line there, hitting a 2:40. Let's see if they can keep that pace up. Should put them in around a 5:20 for their full mile, or 1,600 in this case. Nice to see that pack attack happening from Crystal Springs. Always great when you see the teammates collaborating together to support each other's success. Now in a race like this, the first 3 laps, you tend to use your aerobic system. And the last lap, which Lucy Lambert is now approaching, is sure lactic acid force of will. Do you remember that Krebs cycle from your biology class? Analactic production versus anaerobic versus aerobic production. All right, Lucy's third lap. She's finishing here in a 3:46, 3:47 thereabouts. 75 seconds on that third lap. She had a nice surge there practicing. Our athletes here contest in the Central Coast section. Top time right now for the Central Coast section is run by a Los Gatos athlete on April 17th at a 5:01.3. Let's see Lucy Lambert coming for the finish now, representing the Gators and SHP. Again, the time to beat for the CCS is 5:01. Lucy looks like she's going to be well under that today and maybe the top-ranked athlete in the CCS in the 1,600. Ah, she just missed it. 5:01.6.
All right, let's cheer on. We have about 1,600 meters in. It's a hard race and a hot day like today.
All right, Crystal Springs with the final group attack to the finish line. Finishing just under 6 minutes, looking strong. All 3 girls, well done, ladies. Some athletes from Menlo coming in. Let's see if they can finish under 6:10. One does. Under the 6:20 barrier goes another one. What's really fun about watching track and field, especially an event like the 1,600, is you see the grit and the soul of the various athletes. It's heart and determination. It's how long can you suffer. And it doesn't really matter how fast you race. It comes down to how long can you suffer and what is your grit just to finish any distance event like this. All right, finishing under 7 minutes. We have our Menlo athlete wearing hip number 11. So also a fun fact, Lucy Lambert actually has the top 400-meter time in the CCS right now. She clocked that 58:83, running a lifetime best or a personal record. We call them PRs. Boys high jump is currently at 5 feet 4 inches.
Yes,
Next on the track, we'll have the 1600 meters. Wearing hip number 1 is Justin Pretry of Menlo School, a sophomore. Number 2, Niles Tenias, a 12th grader from Crystal Springs. Wearing hip number 3, Furious Clay, a 10th grader of Crystal Springs. Wearing hip number 4, Alex Bosch, a 10th grader from Menlo School. Wearing hip number 5, Tristan Kelly, a 10th grader of Crystal Springs. Wearing hip 6, Tyler Jang, a 10th grader from Crystal Springs. Wearing hip 7, Emmanuel Gomez Lopez of Crystal Springs, a 9th grader. Wearing hip number 8, Matthew Barter, a 9th grader from SHP. And wearing hip number 9, Will Soderbury, a 12th grader of Sacred Heart. All right, a shout out to Lucy Lambert, who broke the school record in a solo tempo on the track in that last section of the mile. Racing a 5:01.6. Might have been a 5:01.58 when they flashed it on the screen. Looks like we have Justin Petrie in the lead from Menlo.
Again, if you're in the long jump, boys or girls long jump, please head on over to the horizontal pits, the 10 pits. Good events are going on.
No, I am mistaken. Sorry, my nearsightedness. We have 2 boys from Crystal Springs, followed by a Menlo athlete who is not Justin Petrie, contesting. My guess is that we have Niles Tenias and Furious Clay. The second pack of racers went through in 70 seconds flat. Our lead athletes went through in about a 65 on their first lap. In the boys' high jump, the bar has been raised to, there was a clearance at 5'8", and now going to 5'9". All right, we have Furious Clay in the lead, coming into the 800, followed by teammate Niles Tenias of Priory, approaching the 800 mark in a 2:23. Looks like Niles has just taken over the lead from his teammate. A Menlo athlete came through in a 2:30 at the 400 or at the 800 mark. The two Crystal Springs athletes working well together. collaborating and pushing each other, which is so important in an event as tough as the 1600. Seeing a lot of strong collaboration from the Crystal Springs athletes here today. Coming through to the bell lap. Crystal Springs still 1 and 2, wearing hip numbers 2 and 3. Looks like they're trading off the lead. Clay now taking over the pacemaking duties. A sophomore again. Talenius is being led out by the furious pace led by Clay. And now a clearance in the high jump. A clearance of 5.9. We have 200 meters left to go from our lead athlete. 5.10, it will be the next height in the high jump from our lone remaining athlete. Wearing the Crystal Springs uniform. Okay, we have our finisher charging hard. Furious Clay keeping a furious pace all the way through to the finish line, crossing in a 4:39.8. What an effort. And his teammate charging hard to the finish now as well, being motivated by the time he sees on the clock, just breaks 4:50. Well done. Our Menlo athlete now charging hard to the finish. And see if he can break 5:05 barrier. Yes, there it is, 5:03 for our Menlo athlete. Wearing hip number 6, charging hard to the finish line from Crystal Springs. We have Tyler Jang finishing just under 5:20. And now to the high jump. A miss. Athletes will have 3 attempts to clear at each height. Strong showing in the distance events from Crystal Springs. Nice collaboration by the teammates out on the track today, pulling each other through. Looks like the CCS time to beat in the 1600 right now is Tyler Eden of Archbishop Mitty with a time of 4:14.26. A couple of prep athletes finishing in just under 6:10 from SHP. We have a fair clearance at 5:10, and looking at the elation of our athlete, I'd say that might have been a PR. He's going to raise the bar to 6 feet.
Lucy did really well by herself, man. That was brutal. Your left leg. I'm like, So that's the best part. You're probably 6 inches behind the ball. But you hit the mark. Yeah, you are. Oh, yes, I do. There you go.
All right, Ryan Goldboard having a look at 6 feet in the high jump. Again, he has 2 more attempts, even though that first one was a miss. He's a 10th grader from Crystal Springs. Big leaps from a young man.
I'll never have you run a mile again, I promise.
The hurdle crew is now putting the hurdles out on the track for the girls. The girls run 100 meters. Some athletes will 3-step, some athletes will 4-step, some athletes will 5-step between the hurdles. The girls' hurdles are placed at 33 inches. This is in fact the same hurdle height and distance that the Olympic women run. There's a little bit over 8 meters between each hurdle. And a second attempt at 6 feet for Ryan Goldberg, also a miss. I think if he can approach it with a little more confidence, he could do this. He's actually quite close. His timing over the bar looks quite good. I think he just needs to be convinced that he himself can clear it, and it'll happen. Confidence. Confideo means you go with faith. A little faith, Ryan Goldberg. You can do this. The CCS leading jump right now is Aaron Kim from Palo Alto High School with a jump of 6 feet 4 inches. So this is actually quite a good representation here from the WBAL. Ryan gets over 6 feet. Oh, just clipped it with his heels, but now he knows he can. Now he knows he can. You have to work on the timing as the bar gets higher. It's different than when the bar is lower. That was quite a good showing today, Ryan. Well done. I think next week perhaps you can do it. All right, now in the blocks, we have the girls in the 100 meters, hurdles. In lane 2, we have Sophia Fritz of Notre Dame Belmont. Dang, this whole field is Notre Dame Belmont. What a representation. In lane 3, Melanie Castelli, a 10th grader, like Sophia from Notre Dame Belmont. Lane 4, Ellie Rao, an 11th grader from NDB. Lane 5, Brooke Horvai from Notre Dame Belmont. And lane 6, Jennifer Huang of Notre Dame Belmont.
Yeah, let me get them kind of going. I want to get
As we get ready for the girls' 100-meter hurdles, all girls high jumpers, please check in to the high jump pit at the far end of the track opposite the scoreboard. Girls high jump, you guys will be starting after a little bit of warm-ups.
So today I'd say Ryan Goldberg won the high jump and a leap of 5 feet 10 inches. This, however, is an unscored meet. So we all win just by being here, which actually is not a bad way to approach a lot of things in life. Sometimes just toeing the line and challenging yourself is enough. We have Fritz, Castelli, Rao, Horvai, and Huang from Notre Dame Belmont. Now loading into the blocks. Some girls will lead with their left leg, some girls will lead with their right leg. It's about 8 steps to the first hurdle. And they're off.
Once the girls went by, lane 4 only, bring hurdles up 2 notches.
Looks like
and back to
Melanie Castelli of lane 3 is over her last hurdle well and finishes the race.
That makes sense. Just lane 4. All the rest of them you get off the track.
Looks like our winner was across in 20 seconds today. Next on the track, we'll have the boys 110-meter hurdles. They have to have the boys run a little further than the girls because they tend to be a little taller. Fun fact, the girls' 100-meter hurdle race is designed for a girl or a woman who is 5 feet 6 inches tall. The boys' hurdles are designed for someone who's 5 feet 10 inches tall. Girls are also doing run-throughs from the high jump. High school prep boys hurdles are at 39 inches tall. The Olympic height and professional racing circuit is 42 inches, and that's also what the collegiate athletes will race. Although I do see the hurdle crew currently taking the hurdles entirely off the track, so we may actually skip the boys' 110-meter hurdles altogether. I think we only had one athlete signed up from Menlo School, and it may be a scratch because they're clearing the hurdles off the track currently. We have girls contesting in the long jump.
Well, I want to get them. Doesn't matter. I haven't had to use a horrible tripod in years.
In the girls' long jump, we have Ariel Lucas, a 10th grader of Notre Dame Belmont. Tristan Girard, a 10th grader from SHP. Thea Fonstad, twin to Tessa Fonstad, both 10th graders at SHP. Decia Bond of Notre Dame. Olivia Chiaravino of Crystal Springs, a 12th grader. And Keegan Shaw, a 12th grader from SHP. Now jumping Crystal Springs, Olivia. A fair jump. Toe behind the front part of the board. You can take all of the board or some of the board, but not more than the board. We do have our one athlete competing the 110-meter hurdles. Our athlete from Crystal Springs jumped 12 feet 11 inches in the last jump. We have Vikram Shishari of Menlo School, a junior, our lone brave contestant in the 110 hurdles. All right, looks like we have combined boys and girls in the long jump. I think we caught a glimpse there of a Menlo School athlete. That's either William Floyd or Evan Kitt. That last jump was 16 feet 5 inches. And he's off. 3-stepping the hurdles. All right, Vikram. Looking good. Clean race. All the way through. Nice. With a time of 19 seconds. You know, it's just great to see these athletes back out here competing again in track and field, getting off the couch. I know as a mom, I was a little despondent at how much sitting around my son was doing this year. I'm sure there's some parents out there that maybe felt the same. Wanted to get your kid out the house, getting some exercise, some sunshine, some socialization in a healthy way with their friends. Coming down the long jump runway, I just sighted a Crystal Springs athlete. I don't see a foul flag. It looks like the officials are starting to measure that long jump.
Last jumper went over the line.
That last jump was a foul from Crystal Springs. We're about to begin the girls' high jump from Menlo School, the top of the runway. And the boys' long jump. Again, we have either here Evitt Kitt or William Floyd from Menlo School. All right, and the lining up for the girls 400 right now.
16-7 on the last long jump.
16-7 for the last long jump for our gentleman from Menlo School. Okay, lining up for the girls 400-meter dash. In section 1, we have Ali Agosta Leon of Crystal Springs, 10th grader. Madison Ringham, 11th grader from Castellea. Daniela Henderson in lane 3, 10th grader from Castellea. Lane 4, Samira Kennedy, 10th grader from Castellea. Coming down the runway from Notre Dame. For the girls' long jump, looks like we have Desea Bond and Ariel Lucas from Notre Dame Belmont. Back to the track. Lane 5, we have Olivia Stinson, a 9th grader from Castellea, and Jasmine Mirsfati, okay, I'm going to try real hard on this. Mirspahi, a 10th grader from Crystal Springs. Looks like we have our athlete from Castellea running well. Looks like she's through the 200 in 29 seconds. Racing hard. Again, Lucy Lambert from SHP has the CCS leading time of 58:58 in the 400 this year. And our athlete here from Castellea is looking pretty strong. So this looks like 10th grader Samira Kennedy finishing strong from Castellea, coming across the line in 59.6. Well done. She should have one of the top 8 times in the CCS this year. Oh, very tight with the rest of the pack. We'll get the times here briefly. Second place, 106. Third place, 108. Stinson, 108.64. Fourth place, Richardson, 108.64 as well. A tie. And I couldn't quite catch the last time.
It was
Ringham. Looks like she finished in a 108 and change. Now contesting the girls' high jump, we have Sophia Frisk, Dana Sokel, both 10th graders from Notre Dame, Emma Nilsoft, 11th grader from Notre Dame, and Melanie Castelli, a 10th grader from Notre Dame Belmont. Back over to the boys' long jump. Let's see if the officials are bringing out the measuring tape. Looks like we had a fair jump. From Crystal Springs, this is either Blake Zeiger no, Ziegler, I should say, or Matthew Mills.
Last one was 17 feet.
17 feet, half inch.
The last jump was 17 feet, 1/2 inch.
Go,
Possibly
three.
14.
All right, heat 2 of the girls, 400 meters. I understand heat 1 was a up forward distance, but
Those are practices. They're going to start at 3:08.
this time by Samira Kennedy Castellet. So congratulations to Samira. It's a good day to run fast. Great. Heat 2 of the girls, 400 on the track.
Now on the track, we have Heat 2, Section 2 of 2 for the girls 400. This is 1 lap around the track. In lane 1, we have Thea Fonstad, one of our twins here at SHP, a 10th grader. In lane 2, Nancy Astaby of Mercy Burlingame, a senior. Lane 3, Allison Rabani, a 12th grader from Castellea. Coming down the boys' runway right now in the long jump, the fair jump. We have either William or Evan. I would love to know who. All right, lane 4 on the track, Helena Morel, a 9th grader of Notre Dame Belmont. Lane 5, Ella Wilson, a 12th grader from Mercy Burlingame. And lane 6, Cassidy Morris, a 9th grader from Notre Dame Belmont. That last jump was 16.9 for our Menlo athlete.
Go, Cassidy! Keep it up! Go, Cassidy! Don't lose her! You're open! You're open! Push it! Push it! Go, Cassidy! Keep up the form!
All right, with about 75 meters left to go, we have a race that's neck and neck between Mercy and Menlo. Our athlete in lane 4, lane 5, Desea Bond taking it. Nope, it was lane 4. But that is, yeah, it is lane 4. Our freshman for Notre Dame Belmont winning the B section. Looks like our second, yeah, Rabini. I think these are still the times from our no, these are times from our second section. Rabini, there. And we can see the times now from that last section for our athletes. That looks to have been a foul in the long jump. But the officials are measuring it anyway. Looked like the athlete kind of stepped his leg down a bit early. Sometimes athletes choose not to have the officials measure those ones. Okay. Looks like we have a fair jump for our first contestant in the girls' high jump. Looks like this might have been Sophia Fritz of Notre Dame. I believe the bar started at 3 feet 8 inches today. Typically in a meet like this, the athletes will get 4 jumps, and the athlete with the furthest jump is the winner on the day. Today, this is a track meet for funsies. We're not scoring this particular meet today. Looks like we've maybe raised the bar again to 3 feet 10 inches. Sophia has a miss on her first try. She has 2 more attempts. The last long jump was 13.1. I know that athlete has jumped further. Right now, the CCS leading mark in the girls' high jump is Maia Garcia with a jump of 5 feet 5 inches from Pinewood. She also represents the WBAL. And for funsies in the boys' long jump, the CCS leading mark is 21 feet, 11.5 inches. Ooh, so close to 22 feet. From Valley Christian San Jose by an athlete by the name of Charlie Kinney, who represents Valley Christian. He did that at the Bellarmine meet on April 21st, just last week. Our athlete from Crystal Springs now jumping. Can see him adjusting his mark a little further backwards. He might have been a little too far up on the board last time, feeling a little more warmed up, giving himself a little extra space. Accelerating nicely to the board. Maybe his last step was a bit long. Reaching for that board, I'd say he could start his mark a little closer up next time. Get more of that board, not reach on that last stride so much. You don't want to overstride on that last stride, because then you have to put your heel down, which slows you down. And track and field is all about physics. It looks like we have a fair jump. That last jump was 16 feet 2 inches. Now on the track, the first section of the boys' 400 meters. Lane 1, John Clement of Sacred Heart. Lane 2, Ayanu Olukotun. I've killed that. Let me try again. Olukotun, 11th grader from Menlo School. Lane 3, Justin Petrie of Menlo School. Lane 4, Vikas Baba, a 12th grader from Crystal Springs. Lane 5, Austin Chimayas, a 12th grader from SHP. Lane 6, Caleb Quati, a 10th grader from Crystal Springs. Coming into the home stretch now, we see Justin running strong. You know, I do believe that is Justin who ran the 1,600 meters and now following that up with the 400 meters. Mom Tina Lount is the coach for the Woodside Wildebeest, so if you have a middle schooler who likes to run and is a bit wily, you could put him or her with his mom, with Justin's mom. Didn't recognize Justin at first. He's gotten so tall. He was shorter, skinnier, with blonder hair the last time I saw him. Kids these days, they just keep growing and changing. It's confusing to those of us who've watched them grow up. The bar is now at 4.2 in the girls' high jump. We had a fair clearance from one of our Menlo athletes. Bar is now moving to 4.4.
Yeah. 13.4 and a half.
I'm so stunned because I feel like this might be my only meet.
Yeah.
That was like she went fast compared to this other girl.
Nice, great jump. You were like 6 inches behind the board. I even moved. Yeah.
Next on the track, we'll have section 2 of the boys 400. The girls' high jump bar keeps moving up. We have successful clearances at 4.6 by many athletes. Our jump squad now from Notre Dame Belmont. And they're off. In the boys' 1,600 meter heat, the boys' 400 meter heat 2. We have in lane 2, Ethan Liu, a 9th grader from SHP. Lane 3, Dylan Miller, 11th grader from Crystal Springs. Lane 4, Aiden Defner, a 10th grader from Menlo. In lane 5, Ryan Lee, a 9th grader from Menlo. And lane 6, Andy Diaz, a 12th grader from Crystal. Through the 200. Now with 100 left to race, from Menlo School, charging hard, racing like he wants to be in that A heat, Aiden Defner, our 10th grader from Menlo. Oh, looks like the bear is starting to jump on his back now. Fight through it, Aiden. There you go. Well done. A mark of 56.3. Looks like the bar is moving up again to 4.8 in the high jump. We have 3 contestants remaining, all from Notre Dame Belmont. Looks like this is Dana Sokel, 10th grader, with a fair clearance.
All right, 100 meter runners, girls 100 meter runners to the starting line. Girls 100 meter runners to the starting line.
And a second fair clearance from Notre Dame Belmont. An 11th grader, Emma Nilsoft. And our third athlete from NDB in the girls' high jump, Melanie Castelia, 10th grader, with a miss. She'll have another attempt. She has 2 more, actually. Funny thing in the high jump, though, if you don't win the competition outright, it does go down to misses, but also attempts. So you say you have an athlete, 2 athletes who both have cleared 4 feet 10 inches. They have both had 1 miss at that height. They may start to look at, did you have more attempts at an earlier height? Did you have a miss at an earlier height? Or did you come into the competition sooner? Did you start with the bar at 4.2 and another athlete started with the bar at 4.4? So there's a bit of a game of chess happening as well in the high jump and being a bit strategic. Looks like Melanie could accelerate all the way to the bar with her running, and she would clear that bar. And the next time, she did have 3 misses there, Looks like the officials are double checking the height. Or they may be raising the bar again. This time I believe it's to 410. Bar is now at 410 in the high jump. Looks like Dana Sokal will be jumping. Her first miss of the competition that I've seen. Next on the track, we're going to have the girls 100-meter dash. Blocks have been brought to the starting line. Dragging last couple of hurdles off the track. Not quite sure why the hurdles were put on the track. Someone must have been confused about it being the 100 versus the 100 hurdles. Looks like we have a second attempt happening in the high jump now. And a second miss for Dana. Her compatriot Emma looks to have cleared the bar at 410 already. If you're a bouncy tiggery sort of person, a high jump is one of those events that's for you. Okay, another fun fact about the high jump. It's really important you have spikes on your heels, or else your heel kind of skids and slips out. Because this is one of those rare events where you do throw your heel down. It's what makes the vertical jump. The vertical jump is your ability to almost like break and transfer all that forward motion into an upward motion. So having heel spikes actually can be quite transformative. Oh, so close. Just grazed it with the back of her knees. Next week she'll get it. The bar now moves to 5 feet. And I think I believe we still have Emma Nilstoft left in the competition, an 11th grader from Notre Dame Belmont. Next on the track, we'll have the girls 100-meter dash. Lane 1, Jennifer Huang, 10th grader from Notre Dame Belmont. Lane 2, Alex Canny, a 10th grader from Crystal Springs. Lane 3, Tristan Gerard, a 10th grader of Sacred Heart. Lane 4, Keegan Shaw, a 12th grader from Sacred Heart. Lane 5, Kaylin Thompson, a 9th grader of Notre Dame Belmont. Our first miss of the high jump competition for Emma Nilstoft. Lane 5, Caitlin Thompson, a 9th grader of Notre Dame Belmont. Lane 6, Nishitha Piniti, a 10th grader of Crystal Springs. Lane 7, Annabelle Huber, a 10th grader of Notre Dame Belmont. And lane 8, Rachel Cheng, a 9th grader from Sacred Heart.
Here we go. Heat 1, girls 100 meters.
The CCS leading time is held by Kaylee Peterson, a 12th grader from St. Francis. She ran a 12.32 on April 14th at the St. Francis meet versus Valley Christian. That's well within Keegan Shaw's wheelhouse. Let's see what she can post today. It's a nice warm day. Not too much of a headwind, we hope. There might even be a bit of a tailwind. And they're off. Keegan Shaw out well driving. Getting a bit of competition there from her sister in race from Notre Dame Belmont. Racing it well. Keegan Shaw with the finish. A 13.3. Thompson, 13.54. Gerard in third. Canny at 14.35 in fourth. Paniti in a 14.79 in fifth. Huang in a 14.95 in sixth. In seventh, 14.97 for Huber. And eighth, Chang in a 15.24. Again, Keegan Shaw took that race. Thompson in second. Gerard in third with a 13.88. Next up on the track, we'll have Heat 2 of the girls' 100-meter dash. We have Christina Carroll, an 11th grader from Notre Dame. Tessa Fonstad in lane 3, 10th grader from Sacred Heart. Lane 4, Lauren Liu, 9th grader from Crystal Springs. Lane 5, Dana Sokel, a 10th grader from Notre Dame Belmont. We have a fair clearance at 5 feet for our friend Emma Nilsoft. Lane 6, Elsie Chi, a 9th grader at Sacred Heart. And lane 7, Ava Wick, a 10th grader from SHP. Looks like the officials are bringing the bar up to 5 feet 1 inch. When you're the only competitor left in the competition, you can pick the height that you want. Heat 2 is off. Lane 2, Christina Carroll out well from Notre Dame Belmont. She finishes in a 15.2 for the win. Oh, no, 15.04. Fonstad in second with a 15.69. Sokel in third with a 15.84. Carroll in fourth with a 15.04. Oh, excuse me, she's in first with a 15.04. Fonstad in second, 15.69. And Sokel in third with a 15.84. Wick in fourth with a 15.88. And Liu in fifth with a 16.09. And Chi in sixth with a 16.59. We have a clearance at 5.2 in the girls' high jump. She's moving the bar to 5.3 now.
5.4.
Oh, excuse me, 5.4. Next on the track, section 3 of 3 for the girls' finals. Lane 2, Ariel Lucas, 10th grader of Notre Dame. Lane 3, Tara Tonas, 10th grader at SHP. Lane 4, Julia Sedana, 9th grader at Castellea. Lane 5, Ileana Matar, a 10th grader of Sacred Heart. Notre Dame Belmont, girls racing strong, taking the win in a 14.38. Making a case to be in a faster section now, Coach. Lane 2, Matar. In second place, Matar. Third place, Sedana, 16.39. Fourth place, Tonas in a 16.60. With the bar at 5.4, our contestant here, Matar, of 15.91. The bar at 5.4, if we have a clearance here, we're going to have one of the top high jumpers in the CCS. The leading mark is a 5 feet 5 inches. Again, that jump in the high jump is from Maia Garcia from Pinewood. So the WBAL representing well in the high jump for the girls at the CCS level. Looks like she landed a bit on the bar. Bit of disappointment there. See if she can recoup, get a fair clearance on this next attempt. All right, next on the track, boys 100-meter dash. Lane 2, Colin Ho of Menlo School, 9th grader. Lane 3, Ryan Lee, 9th grader from Menlo. Lane 4, Blake Zeiger. Excuse me, I should say Zieger. Blake Zieger, a 10th grader from Crystal. Lane 5, Ryan Goldberg. He raced well earlier today in the 400. of Crystal. Actually, was it the 400 or the 1600? That would be quite the range if he did both, the 16 and the 100. And lane 6, William Floyd of Menlo School. I'm going to go check my notes now. What did Ryan race earlier today? Here we go, a clearance attempt. Oh, she's got to hold her up motion and bring that takeoff knee up and her arms up with a little more enthusiasm, and I think she'll have that 5.4. That was her third and final attempt. Next week.
It's okay. There's going to be 2 weeks.
And they're off. Looks like we have Blake Ziegler from Crystal finishing in a 12.7. Just for funsies. Leading time in the 100 meter for the boys at the CCS level is at 10.86, run by Evan Johnson from Stevenson at Pacific Grove just earlier today. That actually just updated while I was announcing. So looks like we have Ziegler with a 12.07, Floyd in second with a 12.74, Goldberg in third with 13 and change. Didn't quite catch it. They zeroed it out because they're about to start the next race. Heat 2 on the track. We have Shay O'Kelly, 10th grader from SHP in lane 3. Lane 4, Theo Casares, 10th grader from SHP. Lane 5, John Kilmond, 10th grader from SHP. And lane 6, Brandon Singh, a 10th grader from SHP. My sources tell me that some of these boys also play football. Looks like we have a gaggle of Gators. And perhaps we have a scratch in lane 4 from Theo. But we have Shay, John, and Brandon in this race. And they're off. Again, we have lane 3, Shay. Lane 5, John. Lane 6, Brandon. You know, we might actually have a winner of this race out of Heat 2. All right, Coach K. You can see there the times. And we might have the winner out of Heat 2 from today's meet. Well done, Gators. Way to make it fierce with an inter-squad. On the runway now, we have, looks like, a triple jumper from Castellea. We have Desea Bond of Notre Dame Belmont. Keegan Shaw, 12th grader from Sacred Heart. I should mention that Bond is a 10th grader. And Olivia, I'm going to just keep trying. This is, I'm like working on my Italian here. Chiaravino, a 12th grader from SHP. On the runway now, it looks like we have a Castellea athlete. Must be a late sign up and didn't make my heat sheet. Or perhaps she is in the long jump and they're still contesting the long jump and the announcer is much confused. But I just don't have any signups for the long jump from Palatella today, so the announcer will remain confused. All right, looks like we are now lining up for the 800. We got Lucy Lambert towing the line for funsies. Isabel Cairns has run a 2:13.72 from St. Francis at the Distance Fiesta last weekend out in Dublin. In lane 1, we have Samira Kennedy of Palatella. She ran a pretty fierce 400, if I'm remembering correctly. Lucy Lambert wearing hip number 2, a 12th grader from SHP. Lane 3, wearing hip 3, Lucy Paintner, 11th grader from SHP. Lane 4, Janie Morgenroth, who also keeps younger brother Ben in tow from SHP, an 11th grader. Wearing hip 5, Megan Worry, a 9th grader from Notre Dame Belmont. Lane 6, wearing hip 6, Eliza Goler, 12th grader from Palatella. Hip 7, Sophia Knapp, 10th grader, Mercy Burlingame. Hip 8, Sammy Chilton, 12th grader from Crystal Springs. Hip 9, Corinne Lamb, 12th grader from Crystal Springs. Hip 10, Adora Pitcock, 12th grader from Mercy Burlingame. Hip 11, Julia Ragsdale, a 12th grader from Crystal Springs. And wearing hip number 12, Kathleen Davidson, a 10th grader from NDB. This is a 2-lap race. First lap tends to be aerobic. Second lap gets fun. And that's where the anaerobic capacity comes in. Lucy Lambert does have a 58-second 400 on her and a 5:01 mile on her. So the 800 could be a nice sweet spot for her to test the in-betweensies. Although she has already raced the 16 today. We'll see if she's taken this out. We have a nice gator pack attack led by Lucy Lambert, checking her watch for her splits. And it looks like she's about to approach the 200 mark and hit a 35. So she's targeting about a 2:20 pace today. Might be doing a little pace work. I know she's run under 2:20 already. Or perhaps she's feeling the fatigue of that 1600 from earlier today and setting a new school record in that 1600. All right, in the lead we got Lucy Lambert, followed by her teammates, Lucy Paintner and Janie Morgenroth. All right, went through in a 72-second first lap. So on pace to run about a 2:24 right now for a gaggle of gators. A nice collaboration from the athletes from SHP. Our other athletes coming through in a 1:32. And a stiff headwind with the flag on that back stretch here today. Our athlete wearing hip 10 coming through, Adora Pitcock from Mercy Burlingame. All right, coming down to the last dregs of this race. This is when the bear jumps on your back. This is when the lungs and the legs really start to burn. Looks like Lucy Lambert was pacing her teammates. Finishing strong for the Gators. We've got Paintner and Morgenroth with a 2:25 for Morgenroth for Janie Morgenroth and a 2:35 for Lucy Paintner. There are a few events that bring athletes to the floor of the track, but the 800 really is one of them. All right, we have an athlete from Crystal coming down for the home stretch. Getting some applause from the crowd here. A very socially distanced crowd with masks on. Oh, COVID. You are so weird. All right, finishing strong. And it looks like we had our final athlete cross the finish line there. Lucy Paintner finished in a 2:35. Worry in a 2:30. Oh, sorry, missed it. Goaler 2:57.55. Lamb 3-minute flat. Morgan Roth 2:25 on the day. 2:25 point something or another that I can't see anymore. Sorry. All right, Lucy Paintner with the win on that. Boys 800 on the track next. We'll have Johnny Ragsdale from Crystal Springs, a 12th grader. Matthew Morris, 9th grader from Crystal Springs. La Chen Gao, a 9th grader from Crystal Springs. And wearing hip 4, Alex Bosch, 10th grader from Menlo School. Hip 5, Sasha Chernsky, a 9th grader from Crystal Springs. And hip number 6, Lane Eris, a 10th grader from Crystal Springs. Now on the runway from SHP, we have Keegan Shaw, a 12th grader. Keegan. We had 14.8 on the previous jump from the girls. That was not Keegan's jump. That was the previous jumper. Olivia Cavarino, most likely, if they're jumping in the order that I have on my heat sheet. Keegan Shaw did represent SHP at the state meet her freshman year. Sophomore year, unfortunately, didn't qualify through the CCS. And then last year, of course, there was no state meet. Sad tears. Alligator tears if you're representing the Gators here today.
16.6 for that last jump.
Keegan Shaw jumped 16.6. And I bet if she accelerates all the way through the board, she could get those last 6 inches and get over 17 feet. Now jumping from Notre Dame Belmont, Ariel Lucas at the top of the order for today. Boys are off in the 800.
Justin, who's mating right now, has run 2 minutes.
We have Justin Petrie. He's run under 2 minutes in the 800. The boys CCS leading time. Wait for it. In the 800 is Andrew Bachman with a 1:55.73 from Monte Vista Christian, run on April 8th. Here comes Justin coming through the 400, looking strong, looking determined, in 1 minute flat. Ooh, if he can negative split, looks like he's accelerating. If he can negative split, he might break 2 minutes here today. Typically, you're 5% slower in the second lap. But, you know, Justin has a lot of distance experience for a kid his age. Just a sophomore at Menlo School. His older sister is competing at Yale University and was also a fierce 800 competitor and ran at the state meet for Menlo School. Our last long jump for Ariel Lucas was 10 feet 7 inches. Petrie now coming in to the top of the final 100 meters. We're at a 150 with 70 left to go. Will he make it? Come on, Justin. Get under 2 today. Come on, boy. Get it, get it, get it. Ah, so close. 2:01.2 for Justin Petrie for the win. Our other athletes coming through. Finishing strong. Looks like we had a 15.7.5 on the last jump for Tristan Girard from Sacred Heart.
All right, 300-meter hurdles. Next. 300-meter hurdles.
Next on the track, we're going to have the 300-meter hurdles.
300-meter hurdles, the 200. The 3,200.
Now jumping from Menlo.
I need the third.
I had a Menlo jumper on the long jump runway there.
Sorry about the wind. Just going to the girls.
Woo! Yeah! I put a couple more pieces together on that one. Okay, go for it. And we just had to have you run 100.
Next on the track, we'll have the 300 meters
3, 4, 5.
hurdles for the girls.
Hurdle crew, 3, 4, 5.
We'll have in lane 3, Sophia Fritz.
16. Oh, 16.
Last jump was 16.6 for our jumper from Notre Dame Belmont, I believe.
3, 4, 5.
I bet this is one of our Fonstad twins.
Bottom for these ladies who are tricks. And then we're going to ride into the 200.
We'll have Sophia Fritz in lane 3 for the 300-meter hurdles. Ellie Rao in lane 4, 11th grader. And Melanie Castelli, 10th grader from Notre Dame Belmont. No, they start over there.
So they start crossing the other side.
Yeah.
I understand I'm not nice to you, Keaton.
She's just running, right?
I know, yeah.
Now coming down the runway, we've got Keegan Shaw of SHP. Looks like she didn't like that and scratched that attempt. I believe that was her second of 4 jumps for the day. Leading jump for the CCS in the girls' long jump this year is held by Megan Runnan. She's jumped 18 feet 5 inches. She attends St. Ignatius. Looks like she did that just earlier this week on April 24th at the SI Menlo School Reardon meet. Back to the top of the order in the long jump. Looks like we have Ariel Lucas from Notre Dame Belmont. Okay, looks like we have a second scratch for Tristan Girard. Well, a second attempt that was a scratch would be a more precise way for me to word that. And the girls' long jump competition. All right, we've got Keegan Shaw on the long jump. Looks like she's making her third attempt. Doing it with her mask on because she's such a fierce warrior woman. Looks like we have two contestants, Sophia Fritz and Ellie Rao, both from Notre Dame Belmont. The girls are racking up a lot of points if this was a scored meet. Got Keegan Shaw about to take an attempt on the long jump runway. Coming down, running smooth. Looks like she had another scratch. These hurdles are at 30 inches. Again, the same setup that the Olympians run, that these young women are running today. Looks like we have Ellie Rao running well. Looks like Rao took it with a time of 59.3. The CCS leading time this year so far is a 47.54. Run by Malia Middleton from Christopher High School down in Gilroy.
200-meter runners to start.
I think maybe the girls are doing run-throughs still for the warm-up. They're all running through it right now.
That's what they're doing.
Next on the track, we're going to have the girls' 200-meter dash. In lane 1, we'll have Alex Canny, 10th grader of Crystal Springs. Lane 2, Daniela Henderson, 10th grader from Castellea. Lane 3, Samira Kennedy, a 10th grader from Castellea. She contested the 400 hurdles and, the open 400 and the 100 earlier today. Lane 4, Tristan Gerard, a 10th grader from SHP. Lane 5, Kaylin Thomas, a 9th grader from Notre Dame Belmont. And lane 6, Madison Ringham, an 11th grader from Castellea. 200 is a half lap. The girls' leading time in the CCS is held currently by Mina Sai at 26.05 of Santa Teresa, run at Willow Glen on April 21st. The last jump was 15.5 in the long jump by one of our Fonstad twins, I think. Now, jumping should be Tristan Girard, a 10th grader from SHP. That was a scratch or a foul. Looks like we have another jumper from Notre Dame. I believe that's Decia Bond. She jumped a 12 feet 5 inch jump. The starter has blown the whistle. Girls are lining up behind their blocks, getting ready to contest the half lap or 200-meter race. Lane 1, Canny. Lane 2, Henderson. Lane 3, Kennedy. Lane 4, Gerard. Lane 5, Thompson. Lane 6, Ringham. And they're off. All right, we have a fiercely contested race here. Looks like we had someone from SHP sneak into that race.
You ready with your mask on? That's good. Intimidating. What was your time?
I do not see. I don't.
Kennedy did not start that race. Thompson, 28:14 for the win. Henderson, 28:57 in second place. 11:7 on that last jump. Next on the track, we'll have Heat 2 of the 200-meter dash. Lane 1, Jane Hratko, 10th grader from Menlo School. Lane 2, Helena Morel, 9th grader from Notre Dame. Lane 3, Brooke Horvarty, 11th grader from Notre Dame. Lane 4, Nishitha Pinati, 10th grader of Crystal Springs. Lane 5, Ella Wilson, 12th grader from Mercy Burlingame. Lane 6, Lauren Liu, 9th grader from Crystal Springs. Ladies are loading into the blocks. And they're off. Getting out well. We have Nishitha Piniti of Crystal Springs. Coming off the turn well and holding the lead from Crystal. Miss Piniti charging hard to the finish, looking strong. Making a case to be in the fast heat next time, Coach. All right, Piniti finishing with a 30.21. Hervai of 31.2. Wilson, 32.4. Morel, a 33.84. Liu, 35.11 in fifth. Hrakto did not start. Again, Piniti for the win with a 30.21. Back to the track at the start of the turn. Section 3 of the girls 200. Thea Fonstad, 10th grader from SHP. Christina Carroll in lane 2, 11th grader of Notre Dame Belmont. Lane 3, Adora Pitcock, 12th grader of Mercy Burlingame. Lane 4, Elsie Chi, 9th grader from Sacred Heart. Lane 5, Ilana Matar, a 10th grader from SHP. Lane 6, Julie Sedana, a 9th grader from Castellea. And the girls' triple jump. Looks like we just had Desea Bond. Notre Dame in the lead. Looks like Christina Carroll's going to take this race. And she does in 32 flat.
33. What can we do? 300?
I guess 17.5.
380.
Eh.
180. And then looks like 2 heats for the boys. Then we'll go into the 3,200. And our last
Yeah.
race of the day will be the 4x4.
All right, Carol took that race in a 33.97. Now jumping for Crystal Springs in the triple jump. Looks like she had some good lift on the first phase of the jump. Olivia Giardavino. Hear what that jump was in just a moment. Next on the track, we'll have Ava Wick, lane 2. That was 38 feet even. 30 feet 8 inches. I was gonna say, I'm like, that's gotta be a CCS leading jump. 30 feet 8 inches for our triple jumper from Crystal Springs. In lane 3, we have Rachel Chang of Sacred Heart, Olivia Stinson, lane 4 from Castellea, lane 5, Tara Tonas, Sacred Heart, and lane 6, Perry Stivic of Notre Dame, and Ava Wick from SHP in lane 2. Stinson won that race in a 30.56, Chang 31.7. Stivic with a 33.99. And Wick an even 34, very tightly contested for 3rd and 4th place. Our last jumper from Notre Dame was a 28.4.5. That's for Desea Bond. Next on the track, in the boys 200, lane 2, Colin Ho, Menlo School, 9th grade. Lane 3, Evan Kitt, Menlo School, 11th grade. Lane 4, Caleb Quarty, 10th grade, Crystal Spring. Lane 5, Ryan Lee, 9th grade, Menlo School. And lane 6, Matthew Mills of an undetermined age. None was given on the heat sheets today. Heat 1 tends to be the fastest seed times on the day. CCS leading time for the boys in the 200 this year is held by Alex Castro Neri from San Lorenzo Valley in a time of 22.30. We'll see what these boys have here today. Again, we have Colin Ho, Evan Kitt, Caleb Corty, Ryan Lee, Matthew Mills. And they're off. Corty out well, making up the stagger rapidly on his compatriot from Crystal Springs. Corty charging hard. Again, 10th grader. This young man will be around for several more years to come. Finishing in what looks to be like a 26.1. 25.99, just broke that 26 barrier for Caleb Corty. Kitt, 27.25. Second place, Mills, 29.36. Caleb Poe. All right, now in the girls' triple jump from Notre Dame, Desea Bond. 27.5 for Bond in the triple jump. Again, a 10th grader from Notre Dame. Next on the track, contesting heat 2 of the boys 200 meter dash, we have Shea O'Kelly in lane 2, 10th grader from SHP. Ethan Liu, lane 3, 9th grade, SHP. Lane 4, Brandon Singh, 10th grade, SHP. Lane 5, Theo Caceres, 10th grade, SHP. Maybe it's Theo Casares. Maybe I'll get this information and someone will tell me later. All right, the trick to success in this race is staying low and then rising slowly as you get out the blocks. The boys off the top of the turn. In lane 4, Brandon Singh charging hard, 10th grade from SHP. 25.5. Brandon, nice case to be in the fast heat next time. Next on the track, we'll have the girls 2 mile, or well, it's not quite 2 miles, it's 3,200. 8 laps around the track.
Let's get all 3,200 meter runners on the track, please. 3,200 meters on the track.
This is the longest distance at the prep level, the high school track level that's raced on the track. At the collegiate level, of course, you could get a 10K or 6.1 miles or a 5K also raced on the track, but not in the high school, at the high school level. It's more developmental and helps the kids not deplete their bodies too much too young. These distance events are quite strenuous. We have Keegan Shaw here warming up for the triple jump. In the girls 3,200, we'll have Annette Henderson, 9th grade of Notre Dame, wearing hip number 1. Wearing hip number 2, Alejandra Fernandez, 12th grade from Notre Dame. Hip 3, Janie Morganroth, wearing hip number 3, she's an 11th grader at SHP. Kayla George will wear hip 4, 11th grade, Notre Dame Belmont. Lucy Paintner, hip 5, 11th grade, SHP. Hip 6, Perry McClenny, 9th grade, Castellea. And hip 7, Claire Sapisqui, 11th grade from Notre Dame. Okay, I definitely did not pronounce that right. Again, I'm up in the announcing booth. If you want to let me know, I'm happy to fix it and say it right. I'm going to try again. Hooked on phonics. Sapiluski. Just had another attempt from our Crystal Springs triple jumper, Olivia Caravino, as the girls start the 2 mile race. We have Perry of Castellea surge into the lead. Confidence spurring her forward. Oh, no, just kidding. Let me get my binoculars on right. We've got our 2 from, I think one of these racers is not, no, they are from Castellea. That uniform is too bright to be a Gator uniform. got Janie Morganroth. In fourth. And it looks like Alejandra Fernandez of Notre Dame in third. Just kidding. We have Annette Henderson in third. We do have a spare Castellia runner in this race. I'm not sure who it is. Her name was not on the heat sheet that I identified earlier. Let me see if she's on my next page. If she got cut off. Who is my unidentified Crystal Springs runner? All right, our leaders from Castellia coming through, looking strong at the 800, pacing themselves just under a 12-minute pace. Okay, our last triple jumper leapt a 35.11. I believe that's a new lead in this competition. That 35.11 is getting close to one of our CCS leading distances in the girls triple jump, held by Jessie Berry at 36 feet 8 inches. Jessie Berry jumps for Valley Christian in San Jose. All right, the announcer was confused. I thought that was a distance for one of the boys, or for one of the girls, but it's for one of the boys. So my apologies.
Once at least. Where's who else is it with us?
Janie Morganroth looking strong in the 2 mile. I don't think we have Lucy Paintner in this race. I believe she is a scratch. We do have an extra Castellia runner. Our 2 Cassie girls still in the front. Wearing hip 6. We have Perry McClinney. Yeah, no, but yeah, there's no 8 listed. Perry's still looking strong in the lead, collaborating well with her teammate, also from Castellia. In the second pack, we have Janie Morganroth. From SHP. Followed by Annette Henderson, I believe, from Notre Dame Belmont.
Okay, thank you. Very good. 32-3.
32-3 on the last triple jump for the girls.
All right, 32-3 on the last triple jump for the girls. All right, we have a nice battle for third place taking place between Annette Henderson and Janie Morganroth. Castellia girls seem to have their pecking order at 1 and 2. Perry with 1. And her teammate holding steady at number 2. Coming up at the mile here for a couple of our contestants.
So it's just 35 Crystal Street boys triple jump.
35 even for our triple jumper from Crystal Springs on his last jump. All right, with 3 to go, our Crystal Springs athletes. Perry is crossing the line there in a 7:32, and her teammate in a 7:37. Here comes Morgan Roth. 34.5 for that last triple jump. $34.5 was for our contestant from Crystal Springs. Morgan Roth coming through at 8:26 with 3 laps to go. Starting to get that look of suffering that distance often brings to the face of young distance runners. But McClenny looking strong nonetheless, persisting. Nevertheless, she persisted. Look at that spirit fighting through. What's pain? Oh, glory. What do we say? Pain is temporary, glory is forever. Two to go for our lead athlete from Castellia. A solo tempo now to the finish. Those last 2 laps can be long and lonely. There's so much pain and suffering happening. Sometimes you just need a kind cheer from a teammate. Here comes Morgan Roth. She's at the 100 left to go, but in her case it's 900. All right, here comes Perry. She's coming up just a little over 500 left. The suffer expression is getting more suffery. Remember, we do this for fun. What? Suffering can be fun? That is such a radical notion in the Instagram, Instacart. I can get anything with the click of my phone that's in my pocket. Instantaneous gratification generation. Look at this. The willingness to suffer persists. 10:40 with 1 lap to go for our lead athlete. Bell lap, bell lap. Okay, so it turns out our evolution or our creation, depending on which side of the divide you stand, I am announcing from a Catholic school, so I'm just going to give that disclaimer. There's so much about our evolution that has created us to be a collaborative distance running species. Our two-leggedness, we are not fast, really, compared to other animals that might like to eat us. We have no fangs, we have no claws, but we are hairless and we run on 2 feet. We are slow, but we persist. This is how we survived as a species. It was through persistence hunting. We can simply out-endure our 4-legged prey, and we can hunt in packs through our linguistic skills. And there's something about distance running. We tap into that very nature.
I need to go check in, is that right?
Here comes Perry, 100 left to go. It's quite a strong showing for this young lady. She picks it up. 50 left to go. She can smell the barn. She's bringing it home. Smelling the barn is a thing that distance runners say when they're almost to the finish. A 12:09. Very good showing for Perry McClenny, a 9th grader from Palatella. Her teammate will be the next one to cross the finish line. Here she comes now with 100 left to go. Our mystery friend from Palatella, no doubt a training mate. If only her name had made my heat sheets. Must have been a last-minute ad. Well done. Well under the 13-minute barrier and a 12:44. Her teammate congratulating her. All right, we had a 29:2 for our jumper from Crystal Springs on his last jump. Here comes Janie Morganroth finishing strong in her 2-mile. Finishing at just under 13:40 today. Called a 13:39. The leading 2-mile time this year in CCS is held by Anna Wyrich. She seems to be unattached, or at least athletic.net does not know. But she ran a 10:46.84 at Sundown Track Series, meet number 2 on February 27th.
So the 2 competitors in the, looks like the triple jump right.
You know, after a little further investigation, it looks like Anna Wyrich runs for Harker in San Jose. She is a senior. Keegan Shaw with the triple jump. All right, under 15 minutes. You know what's great about track and field is it's not really about winning the race. It's kind of about improving yourself. Because the time, the clock, never lies. The tape measure never lies. And it's all about your own self-improvement. So some of these athletes are trying to break under 12 minutes. Some are trying to break 13. Some are trying to break 14. Some are trying to break 15. You know, we're all our own in our own species of race and fierceness and what we're achieving. So it's just great to see each athlete putting forth their best effort. 33.9 for Keegan Shaw on her last jump. All right, next on the track, we have the girls 4x400 meter relay. The teams will be Palatella, Sacred Heart, and Crystal Springs. Palatella is in lane 5, SHP lane 6, Crystal in lane 7. So altogether, all 4 athletes will race 1,600, but each athlete is responsible for bringing the baton around the track one full lap. Just like in the 4x1, there is an exchange zone. Athletes may not leave the exchange zone without the baton. If they leave the exchange zone without the baton, the team is disqualified from the race. There's some rumor of maybe combining the boys and girls heats for the 4x4, but I think we had enough teams add. We can no longer do that.
I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to start the time. Because you guys are Here we go. Runners, take your marks. That was bad. Get out.
And they're off. Palatella, lane 5. Sacred Heart, lane 6. Crystal Springs, lane 7. Looks like Palatella scratched. But that's all right. You just need one other person to energize yourself with in a race. Just the thought of them being there is enough to spur you on. All right, it's getting real in the Whole Foods parking lot right now. 100 to go. That's when the bear starts to jump on their back. Running strong. SHP in the lead. Coming into the exchange zone. Most teams use sighted passes for the 4x4, even at the elite levels. Not so much the case in the 4x1, where timing gets you everywhere but no place.
Guys, cut it.
Looks like we have Julia and Allie running for our teams here. Into the exchange zone. Athlete number 3 coming through the 8 and a 2:12 for SHP and a 2:15 for our team from Crystal Springs. Crystal Springs getting out well, closing the gap down the back stretch. She has about 10 meters to close still. Will she continue to close, or will her effort in the first lap drain her? She's holding steady at 10 meters. She did close the gap a bit on the Gators. Looks like the gap is starting to widen again. Our Crystal Springs athlete got out hard and has run out of steam. Oh, Morgan Roth, after competing the 2 mile just moments ago. Passing off to Lucy Lambert, who did not contest the 2 mile today. I have to say, I'm impressed by Janie Morgan Roth. Very uncommon that you would race a 2 mile and then come back and do a 4x4 leg. On the anchor lap, Lambert stretching out her stride, gliding well down the back stretch. 150 left to go. Or I should have said 250 left to go. Long day announcing. Now she's got 150 left to go. Lucy racing hard. Bringing it home for the Gators. Looking strong. Animating the crowd with her fierceness. The Gator is finishing in a 4:18.7 for the win. Crystal Springs, anchor athlete, bringing it home with a lot of determination.
Yeah, when I dropped off road. Who's my baton?
All right, next on the track, we're going to have the boys 4x4. Lane 1, Crystal Springs, Team A. Lane 2, Menlo, Team A. Lane 3, Crystal, Team B. Lane 4, Crystal Springs, Team C. It could be a weight squad out there. Lane 5, Sacred Heart, Team A. Out in, lane 5. So again, lane 1, Crystal, lane 2, Menlo, lane 3, Crystal, lane 4, Crystal, lane 5, Sacred Heart.
No, I think so. I can only PR because you guys won the court. Oh, yeah.
Blue line. There you go. Blue line. Keep going. Fast enough. You're right there. Okay. Oh, no? Oh, fine. Thank you.
Would you rather me face this way over the game or look at the two guys behind me? There's two guys this way. There's 4 teams.
SHP out well, maintaining the stagger and lengthening it. Running in second, we have Crystal. I think it's Furious. Running in lane 1 from Crystal Springs, Clay Furious. Made up the stagger on our Gator. We have Menlo passing now, our SHP runner, into the first exchange. Crystal Team A in first, Menlo Team A in second, Gator Team A in third, Crystal Team B in fourth, and it looks like our weight man relay didn't happen today. Oh, how'd those throwers talk their way out of this? $200 left to go for our second athletes, second leg. Oh, the Gators fighting hard. We have a contest now for second place. Although don't count Crystal Team B out. He's fighting hard as well. Crystal with the first handoff. The Knights with their second handoff. Uh-oh. No, we do have all 3 Crystal Springs relays in there. This announcer didn't see that third team sneak by. All three Crystal teams are in front of Team A from Sacred Heart right now. All right, Gator Pride, we got to beef up here. Time to step up. Tristan running well. Crystal Springs Team A running hard. Getting ready to pass off the baton for a third and final time to the anchor athlete. 2:46 on the third exchange. Menlo with the 2:51 handing off. I believe that's Justin running for Menlo. Crystal Team B handing off. These are not a weight squad for Team C. It's the distance squad. Coach is making them work on their speed today. Crystal's Team C passing at 3:14 and the Gators at 3:16 for that final leg. All right, Crystal bringing it home. He's taking names. Here comes Justin Petrie. Closing in on Crystal Springs with a strong final leg. After racing some competitive races earlier in the day, that young man has speed and endurance in those legs. Okay, SHP fighting back. Little Gator Pride closing in now. Coming in, let's see who's going to take this. Who wants it more? TB for Crystal finishing strong now, but we have a fight here. All right, Gators. A strong close for our Gator team. Anchor leg. 4:16 on the 4x4 for the Gators and a 4:19 for Crystal Spring Team C. And I believe that concludes our track meet today. Thanks so much for listening. If you have any name pronunciation refinements, I would love to know how to do this better next time. Still learning. New league, new athletes, and you guys have a great day. And make sure you get younger siblings out for track and field. I know we have a lot of sports happening concurrently right now, but the track and field numbers are down, and it's a great sport. There's something in it for everyone. You like to lift heavy objects? Go do the shot put. You like to run fast and short? Go do the 100 and the 200. You like to suffer? Do anything longer than that. Suffering, hashtag, it can be fun. You're springy? Come do the high jump. There's something in it for everyone, kids. So, convince your friends. Get them off the couch. Get them out. Track and field.
That's living life right.